Good evening, investors. Welcome back with me, Ainun Jaria, on KleverStock, serving you the latest updates for the closing bell this evening. Now, kicking it off with the evening updates from Bursa Malaysia. Bursa Malaysia remained on a downtrend at mid-afternoon, weighed down by selling in selected heavyweights led by Maybank and Petronas Chemicals. Maybank trimmed 8 cents to 10 ringgit and 60 cents, and Petronas Chemicals shed 14 cents to 3 ringgit and 22 cents. The two counters contributed 3.66 points to the index losses. At 3:07 p.m., the FPM KLCI fell 9.18 points to 1,667.65 from Wednesday's close of 1,676.83. The benchmark opened 2.61 points lower at 1,674.22. On the broader market, gainers outpaced losers by 508 to 487, while 515 counters remain unchanged, 1,139 untraded, and 12 suspended. Turnover stood at 1.94 billion shares worth 1.65 billion ringgit. Among the heavyweights, Sunway added 1 cent to 5 ringgit and 59 cents, TM advanced 5 cents to 7 ringgit and 85 cents, YTL Power was flat at 3 ringgit and 35 cents, Public Bank trimmed 4 cents to 4 ringgit and 49 cents, CIMB eased 1 cent to 8 ringgit and 5 cents, and TNB slipped 12 cents to 13 ringgit and 58 cents. On the most active list, Zatrix AI increased 1 cent to 82.5 cents, Dagang Nextchange rose 2 cents to 34.5 cents, Tanko perked up 3 cents to 1 ringgit and 23 cents, MMAG was flat at 7.5 cents, and SNS Network declined 3.5 cents to 61 cents. Among the top gainers, United Plantations climbed 1 ringgit and 76 cents to 33 ringgit and 20 cents. Malaysian Pacific Industries garnered 50 cents to 32 ringgit and 50 cents. Kellington put on 41 cents to 5 ringgit and 17 cents. And IA Holdings climbed 40 cents to 7 ringgit and 40 cents. As for the top decliners, Nestle shrank 1 ringgit and 40 cents to 120 ringgit and 60 cents. Petronas Gas gave up 18 cents to 18 ringgit and 20 cents. Fraser and Neve dipped 26 cents to 35 ringgit and 82 cents. And Hong Leong Bank shed 14 cents to 22 ringgit and 62 cents. Now for some local economy updates. Malaysia stays the course on the 13 Malaysia Plan 13MP implementation to weather the economic challenges of 2026 amid rising global geopolitical uncertainties, said Economy Minister Akmal Nasrullah Nasir. He said that this year, geopolitical uncertainties pose challenges that must be taken into account, while most players are still assessing the impact of recent developments involving the United States and Venezuela, including their implications for the global economy. He said, I think everyone is still waiting to see the impact from that event, and I think most people are still trying to figure out the repercussions from such events. But definitely for our ministry, the focus is to ensure that 5-year plan, the 13MP, will take place and that we must focus on the execution. Commenting on whether the Ministry of Economy and Petroleum Nasional Berhad would continue to monitor the situation in Venezuela, given its long-term impact, Akmal Nasrullah said that the geopolitical developments involving the instability in oil and natural resource prices are indeed being monitored. He said everyone is monitoring and this is something that needs to be evaluated. Geopolitics is a challenge that we have to face in 2026. Akmal Nasrullah said the ministry's focus is to ensure that the country's economic foundations continue to be strengthened via the implementation of the government's long-term development plan. He said we need to concentrate on bolstering economic delivery, whether via government plans such as the 13MP, as well as ensuring that all other plans that have been formulated, such as the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, the National Energy Transition Roadmap and others, are implemented. Responding to a question about the priorities of small projects under the Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim's agenda, Akmal Nasrullah said his ministry does not view projects solely based on a list, but rather based on the targets and objectives to be achieved. He said the ministry sees the 5-year plan as not just based on a list of projects, but on targets, objectives that we are trying to achieve. From those targets, we identify initiatives and then organize projects. He said the government places great emphasis on small-scale projects to ensure the rakyat benefits greatly from them. He said, therefore, in ensuring that the implementation of projects arranged by the government, we not only look at high-impact projects, but also ensure that the results can be felt by all levels of society. Still on local economy news, Economy Minister Akmal Nasrullah says that he is scheduled to meet his Singaporean counterpart by the end of this month as part of the efforts to advance cooperation under the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone JSSEZ. He said the meeting is expected to pave the way for deeper mutual understanding between both countries ahead of the planned unveiling of the JSSEZ blueprint in the first quarter of this year. He said for the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, definitely we plan to unveil the blueprint, inshallah, within the first quarter, but we are arranging for a meeting between myself and the Minister from Singapore by the end of this month. When asked on the specific issues to be discussed under the JSSEZ framework, Akmal said it would be premature to disclose details prior to the meeting. He said, wait and see, because I think it's better for me to meet the minister and get the understanding between both countries first. The JSSEZ is a bilateral initiative aimed at strengthening cross-border economic integration between Malaysia and Singapore by enhancing connectivity, facilitating investments and promoting high-value industries. The zone is expected to focus on key sectors including manufacturing, logistics, the digital economy, green energy and services, while leveraging Johor's land and workforce advantages alongside Singapore's capital, technology and global networks. It forms part of Malaysia's broader economic strategy under the 13th Malaysia Plan and complements other national initiatives including the National Energy Transition Roadmap and ETR, with the objective of driving sustainable growth, creating quality jobs and positioning southern Malaysia as a regional economic hub. It covers the Iskandar development area for the City Pengarang Integrated Petroleum Complex and Desaru, with a land area of 357,128 hectares. The Iskandar development region includes Johor Bahru City Centre, Iskandar Puteri, Tanjung Pelepas Tanjung Bin, Pasir Gudang, Senai Skudai and Sedana. Up next, we have more local news. ISF Group Berhad is seeking to raise 61.15 million ringgit from its initial public offering IPO on the ACE market of Bursa Malaysia to fund businesses expansion, including operational capacity growth and working capital needs. The end-to-end piping solutions provider launched its prospectus today ahead of its planned listing on January 28, 2026. The IPO price is set at 33 cents per share, which would give the group a market capitalization of 330 million ringgit upon listing. ISF is primarily involved in the supply and installation of piping systems for end-user premises as well as water supply and sewer infrastructure projects. It also provides maintenance and repair services for piping systems. The IPO comprises the issuance of 185.3 million new shares, representing 18.53% of its enlarged share capital, alongside an offer for sale of 90 million existing shares, or 9% of the enlarged share capital. Of the new shares, 50 million will be allocated to the Malaysian public, with the remainder offered via private placements to Bumiputra and selected investors. ISF plans to allocate 39.9 million ringgit, or 65.25% of the proceeds, to working capital, while 11.35 million ringgit will be used to establish and expand operational facilities. The remainder will be channeled into business development, workforce expansion, loan repayments and listing expenses. Managing Director Jeff I. Boone said the company, which began operations in 2001 as a trader of plumbing materials, has since grown into a contractor for large-scale and complex piping projects across Peninsular Malaysia. As of December 9, 2025, its unbilled order book stood at 120.68 million ringgit, providing earnings visibility through the financial year ending December 31st, 2028. The bulk of the order book comprises end-user premises piping projects, with the remainder coming from infrastructure-related works. On the financial front, ISF recorded revenue of 54.67 million ringgit in the financial year ended December 31st, 2024, up from 21.57 million ringgit in 2022, while profit after tax rose to 9.64 million ringgit from 930,000 ringgit over the same period. The group posted revenue of 59.52 million ringgit and profit after tax of 15.18 million ringgit for the 7-month period ended July 31st, 2025. Applications on the public issue opened today and will be closed at 5 p.m. on January 14, 2026. And finally, wrapping it up with the latest business outlook. The Tanjung Pelepas Port PTP closed 2025 with a historic throughput of 14.03 million 20-foot equivalent units, becoming the first single container terminal in Malaysia to surpass the 40 million mark in its 25th anniversary year. At TEU or 20-foot equivalent unit is the standard international measure used to quantify container throughput, representing the cargo capacity of a single 20-foot long shipping container. PTP, a joint venture between MMC Group and Netherlands-based APM Terminals, recorded 14,028,375 TEUs for the full 2025 calendar year. The milestone positions PTP as Malaysia's leading transshipment hub and one of the region's most resilient container terminals. Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siu Fook said the achievement represented a significant leap forward for PTP, building on earlier record highs of 11.2 million TEUs in 2021 and 12.3 million TEUs in 2024. Loke said that the milestone reflected the port's sustained operational discipline, scale and execution strength. He added reaching the new threshold in its Silver Jubilee year further reinforced PTP's standing regionally and globally. PTP Chairman Tan Sri Chair Khalib Mohamad Noor said closing 2025 at 40 million TEUs set a new national benchmark and reflected the collective commitment of its workforce and the confidence of global customers. He said the milestone is even more significant as it was achieved while sustaining a monthly average of 1.2 million TEUs with no congestion, adding that the PTP's designation as a key Asian hub for the Gemini Cooperation further affirmed market trust in the port. Gemini Cooperation is a strategic global shipping alliance between Maersk and Hapag-Lloyd aimed at delivering faster, more reliable container services through a streamlined hub-and-spoke network. PTP Chief Executive Officer Mark Hardiman said 2025 marked a defining year for the port, with both the 13 million and 40 million TEU milestone achieved within the same month, specifically on December 6th and December 31st respectively. He said this placed PTP in a new league of operational performance. PTP also reported strong growth in its free zone operations, which expanded by 8% year-on-year, driven by e-commerce, fast-moving consumer goods, sports apparel, auto parts and construction materials. Its Pelepas Free Zone, offering 7 million square feet of warehouse space, recorded a 98% occupancy rate, supported by new regional distribution hubs set up by multinational and local players. December capped the record year with PTP's 25th anniversary gala night, attended by government representatives, regulators, shipping lines, industry partners and stakeholders. Now that's a wrap for Closing Bell Updates with me, Ainun Jaria, on KleverStock. Thank you for choosing us investors. We shall catch up tomorrow. Goodbye.